Good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hello, Stan. Nice to see you or know that you're out there. Nancy, good morning. Pat, good morning. Sunny day for sure here in Southern California. Not probably around the rest of the country. Raina, good morning. Oh, wow. Hi, husband Kevin. It's interesting because so often this class in 2020, before we became virtual, I used to teach 2 classes on Saturday. And these are my classes where all the couples came. So this is kind of the introduction into yoga quite often for men is to come with their wives or girlfriends or partners. And not always, of course, there's men that come by themselves. But more than likely, it's usually in a partner form. So this is my weekend where I would have lots of couples. And in the last 2 years of doing these classes virtually, it's been the same as well. So welcome, Kevin. Do whatever your body will do, and that's all you need to do is whatever you can. And then, Raina, are you from Kansas City? I think that's where you're from, or was it Kentucky? I think it was a K. Anyway, Carolyn, good morning. Stevie, good morning. So nice to have you all here. And if there's anything in particular that's ailing you, any body part that is feeling whatever, if you want to share that with me and let me know and kind of give me a little direction of, ooh, let's focus here. And if not, that's okay too, because there's so much to do, so much of our body that we can stretch and strengthen and increase range of motion in our joints, increase flexibility in our muscles. And no matter who you are, we all need that, right? Good morning, Lynn. Maybe you and Dave are here. Steve, hopefully you're out there. Raina, my daughter just arrived in Seville, Spain. She's going to be studying for 3 months abroad to learn Spanish. And her roommate is from Kansas City. So that's why I asked, because I thought, oh, that's so, my daughter's in Seville with someone from Kansas City. I'm here with you from Kansas City. Just a very interesting world and kind of interesting quinky-dinks. Yeah, I know. I remember that. I remember it was from Megan. What a sweet girl she is. So Kevin, you're here with Dave and Lynn. And Steve is usually out there, and Stan is here. So there's more men in my Saturday classes usually, although Wednesday had a lot as well. All right. So if there isn't anything in particular that anybody wanted to focus on, then I am going to do what I had planned, which I don't even know what to term it, but we're going to do a lot of spinal undulation today and get your spine moving. So think of a snake and think of the way a snake moves and how fluid that process is. So really maintaining the fluidity in your body is so important for us as we age, or for injury prevention if you still want to be like a weekend warrior or a warrior with your workouts. Not me anymore. All right, so I'm going to come back here to my spot. All right, so the focus for today's class, because I call this stress reduction, I always think of that word. So today and often I want to help manage the stress of aging because, well, after the 30s and maybe even before, and this is really fitting because Tom Brady just announced retirement. And my husband was telling me that, and then he said he was going to retire at 45 and he's 44. And I said, well, wait, maybe he's going to be 45. And sure enough, I looked, he turns 45 on August 3rd. And so that is kind of the preseason, right? So he did do what he said. He played until 45. And the reason why he was able to is because of the lifestyle that he chose to live to keep himself in tip-top shape through diet, through movement. And I know that his wife, she does a lot of mindfulness practices. She has a lot of great videos about the lifestyle that they lead. And they really do find balance in their lives. And you could see what happens when you do. That's like a And sorry for any of you that maybe his team beat other teams, because I'm sure that comes into play, and whatever the feelings are there. Let's just take this human being that played at the top of his game until he was 40, almost 45, okay? Because that's pretty amazing. So we are going to move our body today to keep our body mobile, flexible. It's a slower practice. We're going to notice our dysfunction in our bodies, or notice where we're sticky or creaky, so that we can actually help to dislodge or repattern dysfunction, because dysfunction in our joints actually creates more wear and tear and more arthritis and more breakdown in the joint. So the better aligned you are in your joints, the stronger your joints are, the more you, or the better you could keep yourself away from pain. So we're going to focus on managing the stressors of aging that are happening in our bodies, and also stressors of activity if you do some activities that are pretty challenging. Okay, so for today's practice, we'll need a block, we'll need a strap. You'll need at least one blanket, and if you have some tightness in your body, you may need 2 blankets. So if you have some roundness in your upper back or a tightness in your shoulders, having 2 blankets may be more beneficial for you. We're going to begin today's practice supporting our spine, because we're going to really work with the spine today and get the spine to move, to twist, to bend, to stretch. And, and it's all wrapped and all kept together. So it's not really big movements that we need to do in order to get that nice stretch to come into the spine. So you're going to get your 2 blankets, whatever they are, or one. And we're going to begin by taking your blanket into the longest full length that you have. So hopefully you're in a rectangle shape with your blanket. This is a little bit longer than this edge here. And you're going to take your blanket and roll up your stretch will be. So you decide here, and you could do this with a towel. You could do this with blankets. This blanket that I have here is actually a very firm blanket, so it's going to be a bigger opening. It's going to be more stretching across the chest, across the shoulders, stretching and opening the front of our spine, and stretching the belly area. So really taking sitting out of our body. For some of you, you may need another blanket that'll go at the top for you, maybe this way, or maybe even folded again. So you'll see what you need when you come down. We're going to begin. Let's bring our tushy onto the ground, and then go back and forth so you actually feel your pelvis. And in actuality, you're feeling the base of your spine. This is where the 2 bottom spinal bones are attached. And probably they say after age 50, the synovial joint of the sacrum fuses for many people, not all, but many. So go back and forth. I want you to feel the sits bones, which is your pelvis. And when you go through center, that's where your coccyx bone is and your sacrum. And then bringing yourself down. So if you have osteoporosis, come to the side and come down. And if you don't have osteoporosis, or even if you want to try this with osteoporosis, keeping the chest lifted, not at all rounding the spine by the heart. A little bit work there for the shoulders and arms. And then your tushy is on the floor, not on the blanket. And the blanket begins at the low back. And then you want to arrange your upper body. So you may need the blanket there or not, depending on what you have going on. Keep your knees bent, let your feet go wider than your body, and let your knees go in towards each other. And then lift your head up, lengthen your neck down, or your back neck is nice and long, and your chin is down towards your chest. And then take your arms, let's do a little here to allow the body to arrive here. So as if you were making snow angels, closing your eyes, feeling and noticing one side compared to the other. Notice if you hear movement, feel movement. So we're locking in the shoulder blades here, and the arm bone, and the muscles that attach the arm bone to your body are getting a deep stretch. Palms are up towards the sky, the elbows come towards the waist, and then the arms go overhead. To do this with breath, you exhale when your arms come down towards your waist. You inhale when your arms go up and above. You exhale, arms are down to your waist. and you inhale up and above. Exhale and inhale. And just notice what you notice in your body. If you take your arms a little farther away from you, you'll notice even more stretch as you increase the lever and the weight on the joint as your arm goes farther away from your body. And we're going to come to a stationary hold and a deep stretch. So begin with your arms all the way lengthened. Notice if there's any tension in the upper back and neck area. And then let's take the head side to side. So release and soften the upper back and neck here. Closing your eyes, feel your way through this. And then bring yourself back to center. Arms are to the side. Reach your arms long, straight, spread your fingers, really stretch. And see if you can let your hands touch the ground. So the fingernails are touching the ground. The arms are outstretched as much as you can to experience whatever stretch you're experiencing. Then bring your awareness to your heart. Press your heart up towards the sky. And then allow your arms to soften and relax. Let the awareness go to the left hand, the left wrist, the left forearm, left elbow, and left upper arm bone. Let your left arm be heavy. Then bring your awareness over to your right hand, your right wrist, your right forearm, the right upper arm bone, and let go of any holding. Let your arm be very heavy. Bring your awareness to your pelvis. Feel the middle of the pelvis. Feel that connection of you to the earth. And see if you could soften your pelvis. Any tension that's being held, release, release, release. Bring your awareness to your head. Let your head soften and release. Feel the weight of your head releasing. Feel the neck releasing its hold, its support. Take your lower jaw and move it back and forth side to side. And then open and close your mouth really big a few times. Allow the lips to touch, the jaw to relax, back teeth are separated. Bring your awareness to your breath as it enters your nostrils. Let your breath come to your chest. Expand and contract. Feel your chest stretch as you breathe in and feel it contract as you breathe out. And then breathe in and breathe back to your spine, right behind your heart. And see if you could feel your spine pressing up against your rolled up blanket, right behind your heart. And then bring your breath down to your low back. Breathe in and breathe to your low back. Feel your low back press against your rolled up blanket. And then breathe all the way down to your tailbone. Let your awareness go with your breath into your body, down the back of the spine, all the way down to the tailbone. Breathing in and feeling and noticing the pressure and the sensations on your spine. And for these last few breaths, we're going to breathe in all the way down to your tailbone and follow the breath all the way up and out from the tailbone, all the way up your spine, out your nostrils. Visualize the breath. Follow the trail of breath. In, down your spine to your tailbone, out your body from the tailbone, all the way up the spine to the nostrils. And then finishing up your last breath. Giving your breath back to your body. Wiggle your fingers. If you'd like to slide the backs of the hands on the ground, eventually bending the elbows a little bit to go to a place that's a little bit more of a stretch in your body, feel that, notice that. Notice how that feels. Trying to create as much stretch as you can in the armpit area, maybe even on the biceps or the upper arms. Stretching where your arm attaches to your body. So for shoulder health, keeping our arm, our shoulder joint nice and mobile, very important to stop arthritis and bone spurs and all of the stuff that happens often with shoulders. Then press your arms into the ground really strongly. You'll feel the activation of your shoulder blades, which are being supported by the prop behind you. And press your heart up towards the sky. Press your tailbone towards the ground, adding a little bit of an active back bend, not too big of a back bend. And then go ahead and release. So being in this position down here, we're bringing fluids back into our spine. So there's a lubrication in the spine. Let's take the arms, or take the legs a little wider, arms are out to the side again. And do a little side to side with your legs without moving your pelvis. So the soles of the feet are going to stay on the ground. Soles of the feet are on the ground. Don't let the soles move off the ground. And don't let your buttocks lift away from the ground. This is all hip joint. Notice how it feels for you in your body. Trying to isolate the hip joint, keeping the pelvis stationary, keeping the spine stationary, and moving the legs independent of your torso. And then bring yourself back to center. Let's take the feet so that your feet are on the ground. Take your left leg long, right knee is bent. Take an exhale. And then inhale, slide the heel, bend the knee. Exhale to straighten. Inhale towards you. Exhale. Inhale. We're going to switch the breath. You're going to take an exhale. Inhale as your leg lengthens away from you. Exhale as your leg bends. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale to straighten. Stay here. Exhale. Inhale to lift your leg about 3 inches. Exhale to lower. Inhale. Notice your belly here. The core is going to activate. The pelvic stabilizers are going to turn on. Last one, lift your leg, hold there. See how this feels. A lot of work for that hip flexor, one of the quadriceps. And then go ahead and lower that leg. Bending your left leg. Let's take the right leg. Let's exhale. Inhale. And then exhale to slide the right heel away. Inhale to bend. Exhale to slide away. Inhale to bend. Try to slide the heel on the ground. Exhale. Inhale. Stay here and exhale. Inhale to slide the right heel away. Exhale to bend. Inhale to slide. Exhale to bend. Last movement. Inhale to slide. Exhale to bend. And then let's inhale. Take your leg long. Exhale, release. Inhale 3 inches. Exhale to lower. Inhale to lift. Eyes are closed. Feel what's happening in your body. Inhale to lower. Or inhale to lift, sorry. Exhale to lower. Let's go ahead. Take the legs, bend the legs, and let's roll on to our side. So there's a muscle that attaches onto the leg bone and onto the spine. It's called the psoas. It's your filet mignon, your loin. It's about the length of tip of middle finger to elbow. It's this length. It's about 16 inches long, and it's about the girth of your wrist. And it attaches onto all 5 of your low back muscles in your leg. So some of what we just did there, the sliding, the lengthening and contracting of that muscle, and then activating and lifting the leg up, we did that asymmetrically, one side then the other. So maybe if there was held tension in the body, to maybe get a little release to come in. So when we start this practice, we released any held tension or pattern that was in that psoas so that we could be a little bit more neutral. And it's one of the stabilizers and mobilizers that is deep inside your body. Let's take your hand on the ground. See if you could push away and lift up with your shoulder and not let your head lift up, but let your weight be coming forward. So maybe a little bit of a different way of moving up for some of you, or maybe something you practice when you're with me, because I do that often, trying to just switch things up as often as we can with our body. So let's take the blanket and fold our blanket. Don't need the other one. So come on to your shins. Come here. Let's warm up our body, move our body. Take your hands down alongside your body. So this is like a standing position. And the good thing about doing the kneeling position is you get the pelvis, the deep set hip joints here. You get to put strength on your muscles and your bones here, and you don't bring the ankle joint into it. So sometimes it can be really good here and get yourself to be really focusing on that stabilization of the body. So let's take our hands down alongside our body. Let's take a big exhale. Inhale to bring your arms up and really stretch your fingers when you do this. Stretch your fingers away from you. Inhale up, and then exhale, let your chin go down towards your chest. So I'd like it to be that you feel a lot of body tissue stretching here. Palms are open. Inhale. Keep your arms alongside your body if you can. Fingers up towards the sky. Feel the belly stretch as the ribs move away from the pelvis. Exhale to lower. Inhale. Lengthen your spine. And exhale. So there's 26 vertebrae in the spine. When you come up on your next inhale, can you pull space between each one? Bring your hands up, stay here. And then you can bring your head back, because sometimes the head up there at that is a little hard. Now I want you to imagine that you're reaching up, maybe like you're climbing up the rungs of a ladder, or there's a rope above you, and you're going to be climbing up the rope one at a time. And if you go towards the center like you're climbing up a rope, then actually you're going to be adding a little bit of side bend to your body. So laterally flexing your spine. Inhale, exhale, and then bring yourself down, noticing muscular action there to lift the arms up. Let's take the hands down alongside the body, bring one arm up. If you have shoulder issues, maybe this is you. Or maybe this is you. It's about bending your spine to the side. And if you do have your arm up, keep your arm alongside your ear. Try to not let it go forward. So really want to keep the spine open in the front. Inhale, and then exhale to release. Let's inhale, let the other side, other arm come up. Really feel that stretch as the lower ribs draw away from the top of the pelvis. Take one more breath, and then bring yourself down. So take your legs a little bit wider here, beginning with the cervical spine, which is the neck, 7 bones here. Try to keep your torso stationary. Even bring your arms alongside your body, so your elbows are alongside your body, fingers are forward. You're going to only let the head move. So do not let your hands move at all. First, it's going to be just head. Exhale, inhale, look over one side, and then exhale back to center. Inhale, look over the other side. Exhale back to center. Inhale. Inhale. One more each side. Now we're going to bring our torso along for the ride. Take an exhale. Inhale to look a little farther behind you. Exhale back to center. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Now your hands are moving because your torso is moving, and you're going to feel this maybe on the side of your waist, maybe underneath your ribs, maybe down to the hip joint. This is rotation, and rotation is a spinal movement. And the hands here are going to indicate that your spine is indeed rotating. So for any of you that have rotational sports you play, pickleball, tennis, golf, really important to keep these rotational aspects of your body limber. And then bring yourself through one more. And bring yourself back to center. So I feel that here. I feel that top part of my psoas. I feel my obliques. I feel the stretch underneath my ribs. So let's take a break for a second. Let's come down. If your knees will bend, come and sit on your heels. If your knees are going to bend. And if not, you could stay up there. So I'd like to do a little shoulder work here. Take your hands on your shoulders. Fingers are in front, thumbs are to the back. This is like the rotator cuff. There's 4 pieces to the rotator cuff, 4 tendons that are the extension of 4 muscles that actually hold or become the rotator cuff, which is a precarious area that's quite often injured. So let's keep our shoulders nice and strong. Holding on to your arms here. Take a big inhale, bring your arms up to the side. Maybe you feel the underarm stretch. Maybe you feel one side and not the other. As you exhale, let your chin come straight down towards your chest, your arms come down and then towards each other. And then you inhale, bringing your arms up and open. Feel the low belly stretch as the low ribs move away from the pelvis. Exhale down, inhale up. This is a yummy stretch. I think many and almost most people love this. Inhale up. Exhale, chin to chest. Do you feel both sides of your belly stretch? Do you even feel the belly stretch? Really push your sits bones into your heels. And then bring yourself back to center. Take your arms to the side for a second. Bring your shoulders forward, up, back, and down. Forward, up, back, and down. And then bring yourself to shake, release. All right. So you're going to take your arms out to the side. You're going to push your arms back so that they're alongside your body. Look side to side. Make sure that they're alongside. And then make sure your neck is nice and long so you don't have shoulder earrings. Let your shoulders lower. Let your neck be long. Chin is parallel to the ground. And let's start to do little circle patterns backwards. Circles back. Circle, 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 circle. And there's going to be some burning you're going to start to feel as your shoulders start to really work hard to hold up the weight of your arm bones. So stay with this as long as you can. You may experience stuff in your head and neck as well. Let's go a little bit bigger with our circles. You're going backwards and keep the arms more back and side of your body and not so much forward. Start to go a little bit bigger. And if you're feeling a little bit of a burning sensation, as long as there's no pain that's muscular, maybe you feel tension in the upper back and neck, just go with this here to keep yourself nice and strong, to keep the health of your shoulders nice, come into bigger circles, a little more relief in some parts of this. And then come to center. Elbows are underneath your shoulders, palms are on your thighs. Slide your hands back, let your shoulders release. So we're going to take that tension that we're experiencing in our shoulders or the upper back and neck. So I definitely feel that in my upper back and neck, more on one side than the other. Okay, so we're going to stretch our neck. So there's 7 bones here, and we're going to bend them sideways. The tip of your ear is going to go straight up towards the sky. That's what our goal is, okay? The tip of the ear up towards the sky. So take a big exhale to prepare. Inhale, push your ear straight up towards the sky on the inhale. Exhale back to center. Ear straight up towards the sky on the inhale. Exhale back to center. Inhale. Notice if you swallow any mucus. I know that might feel weird, but we are actually compressing lymphatic vessels and nodes. So we move the lymph that's in the upper sinus area, which is a good thing to support movement and immunity. Inhale straight up, exhale back. And then bring yourself back to center. Teeth are together, take an inhale. Exhale, chin straight down towards the chest. Feel the stretch in the upper back area. Inhale, teeth are together. Chin all the way straight up, pointing up towards the sky. Exhale, chin to chest. Inhale, up towards the sky. Exhale down. Inhale up. One more each direction. And then bring yourself back to center, just noticing how you're feeling. Take your hands, wiggle your hands, and then bring yourself up. Let's take our hands, let's stretch our wrists. So you're either going to put the back of the hands on the ground, back of the hands are on the ground, palms are facing up, fingers are facing towards you. If you can do that, or you can do the same thing, bringing your hand up, putting the back of the hand here and pushing the arm towards your body. Keep the arm straight. So you're either doing this up here or you're going to put weight on this and stretch your wrists. And then if you move back a little with your body weight, that actually intensifies that. And then we're going to do the other. We're going to put the palms on the ground. Fingers are pointing towards the kneecaps. Try to let the heel of your hand touch as well. And then you move your body back a little bit to stretch it. And if you're up here, you take your hand, bend your hand under and pull your hand towards you. So now your palm is facing out. Stretching your forearm. This is the inside of the forearm. And then take your hands, bring your hands onto the floor. Palms are spread. This is going to help you. If you spread your fingers really wide, a very wide base, it helps you distribute the weight that's in the hands, so it's not just wrist focused. Take one foot back, flip your toes under, and stretch your calf, stretch the back of the body. And then take the other foot back, stretch the calf. So we're going to come up and we're going to be doing a plank pose. I'm going to hold it for a minute. You decide what's appropriate for you. And I'm going to do a little bit of fancy stuff if that's what you want to do. Okay, so you do what's appropriate for you. Take your hands, bring your hands so they're closer to being underneath your shoulders. Nice support. Spread your fingers. Press your fingers into the floor so you see red and white, your fingertips. Really active. And then take one foot back and then take the other foot back. If you need your knees and your shins on the floor, do that. Do whatever's appropriate for you. And then push your heels back so you have a lot of body weight distribution throughout your body, not just all in your upper body. And then take an exhale. If you want to join me on the inhale, can you reach one arm off the ground? Try to do a little bit of a twisty twist. Inhale to lift up. Exhale down. Inhale. You don't have to do this part. You could be stationary or you could be in a modification. Remember, this is to combat aging, to stay strong. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself down. We're going to come into a spinal stretch and release our breath. Take your hands forward. Pointer fingers are forward. Bending at the hip. You're going to push your pelvis back. Keep your spine nice and long. Bring your forehead onto the mat. Hands are straight. Your tushy is right above your middle calves, not above your hip. You got to push your body weight back here to get a nice stretch in the spine and a stretch underneath the armpits. Deep breaths. Take one more breath. Then you're going to bring yourself up. Take your hands for a second. So we're going to do a spinal movement. We're going to do a spinal undulation with our spine, really bending our spine. Now, if you have osteoporosis, the upper spine, you want to make sure you don't round the upper spine. So when we do our arm and we bring our arm in, that's going to cause a little bit of flexion in the whole spine. So if you have osteoporosis, don't do the arm. You could do the leg, and you'll see what I mean in a second. So we're going to come on to all fours. This is going to be the posture. We're going to inhale to lift, and then we're going to exhale to bring the knee to the elbow. But you'll see that there's a rounding or a flexion that comes in my spine. And so for osteoporosis, you would leave your arm out. You would only do the leg part if you have osteoporosis. Okay? So bring your hands, pointer fingers are forward, hands are spread like crazy, pressing your palms into the ground. Let's inhale, let the left leg move away and the right arm move away. Take an exhale. Inhale to lift. You could even let your gaze follow to bring as much of a back bend into your body. And then when you exhale, bringing the elbow to the knee to the elbow. Try to touch if you can. And it doesn't matter if you don't. Really lengthen on the inhale and contract on the exhale. Push your left hand into the floor to help distribute the weight, and press your right foot into the floor. Come and hold this. Come and hold spinal balance. If you want a little bit more challenge, take your right foot off the floor. And then if you want, you could take your right arm out to the right. You could take your left leg out to the left. Really challenge your core to stabilize you here in this kind of a position. Bring yourself back to neutral. Bring yourself back all the way down. Take a break for a second. Take your hands wide. Fingers are pointing out to the sides and forward so you don't have so much of a bend in your wrists. And then move your body side to side. And then move your body forward and back. Notice your left wrist versus your right wrist. Notice your right buttock versus your left. So we worked that left side of the upper body, right side of the lower body, diagonal pattern. That's the way that the body works. So really strengthening you. And then bring yourself back. Let's come. The arms are underneath. Pointer fingers are forward. Slide the right leg back and the left hand back. Take an exhale. Inhale to lift. Exhale. Knee to elbow. And if you have osteoporosis, you're only doing the leg part coming inward and the arms stay straight out. Press the right fingertips into the floor. On this next one, you're going to hold and stay here. If you want to try to take the left foot off, left arm to the side, right leg to the right. Really push your right fingertips into the floor. Challenge yourself so you feel that you have to keep catching yourself from falling. It's going to strengthen your balance. And then bring yourself back to center and down and out. All right, go ahead and sit on your heels or flip your toes under and sit on the heels in this position. Take your hands, shake your hands. Then notice your heartbeat. Close your eyes. Let your hands rest. Elbows are underneath the shoulders. Notice if your heart rate accelerated during that movement. And then take one more breath. All right. So let's take our block. So we're going to do, go on our belly and do some back bending. Back bending where we lift our body away from the ground against gravity, bringing our back into a back bending shape, pushing the spinal bones into each other and trying to open up the front of the spine. So really strengthening the back of us so that we will be held always. that our body will be able to hold ourselves upright and not give in to that downward pressure of gravity. Really important, I would say. So this is very good postural strengthening. And then that's going to reduce a lot of stress on that shoulder, on the spine. So let's take our block like this. And we're going to come and bring the block forward, forward, forward. Have your knees go to the very edge of your blanket, and then walk your arms forward more and more. So you're in this modification of what's called dolphin plank. The elbows are underneath your shoulders. The hands press into the ground. So push away from the ground with the hands, and then push your hands into the block. The nose is pointing either straight down or slightly forward. And then press your knees into the ground, your feet into the ground, and try to draw your knees and your feet up towards your hands. Feel that deep contraction deep in your core. And then try to push your low back up towards the sky. Drag your knees towards your hands. Take one more breath. And then slowly let your pelvis come down towards the ground. Move yourself back so your pelvis is on the blanket. Walk your arms back if you need. You could take your block off to the side. This is a sphinx. The palms are in the ground. The toes are touching the ground. And then look over your shoulder towards your feet. See if you can look back and see your heels. And see if you can feel when you go slowly a stretch. When you look to the side, see if you can feel the opposite side right by your belly stretching. This is the upper psoas area. And bring yourself back to center. Push your arms into the ground. Push your chest forward, and then try to lift your rib cage away from the ground. Really open the front of your spine. So feel like at the back of your body, you're pushing forward to push your chest forward. And see if you can feel that deep stretch down by the belly. Take your feet a little wider if your low back is unhappy. And even have a little bit of wiggle in your pelvis. So try to be soft in the pelvis, pushing away from the floor, pushing your heart forward, opening the front of the spine, stretching the belly. And then bring yourself forward. The feet, the big toes touch. Reach long as you bring yourself down onto the mat. Let the forehead touch. Let it rest. Let the toes touch. Knees are off the floor. The arms go alongside the body, palms are down, elbows are directly off of your shoulders or armpits, and the fingers are pointing to the wall in front of you. Take an exhale. Inhale to lift your body up and away from the floor, leading with the upper back, not the back of the head. Exhale to lower. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. Inhale. Close your eyes. Feel the back working as the muscles contract, the erector muscle groups to contract, to lift you up. See if you can feel that all the way down to your low back. One more. And then bring yourself back to center. Fold your hands. Let your head rest on the back of the hands. Take your legs really wide. And then bend your knees. Soles of the feet are up towards the sky. And let your legs go side to side here. And then bring yourself back to center, bring your knees back. Take your feet on the ground. Let your head rest on the back of the left hand and bring your right hand out in front of you. Take an exhale. Inhale, lift the left leg off the floor and the right arm off the floor. Exhale to lower. Inhale, right arm, left leg. Exhale to lower. Right arm, left leg. Last one, lift the left leg and the right arm off the ground. Stay here. And then lower down. Bend your right hand, put your head on the back of the right hand, straighten the left arm, straighten the right leg. Take an exhale. Inhale, right leg, left arm. In, lower. Inhale. On your next one, hold. And then go ahead. Bring yourself all the way down. Bring your arms down side your body. Lift your head nice and long, and then turn your head to the right. Place the left ear and left cheek on the floor. And then let your shoulders round forward. Let your legs be separated here. Wiggle your pelvis back and forth. Stretching the upper back and neck. If it feels pretty intense of a stretch, you could take the right arm out in front of you or even bend the right elbow. So this is a really nice way to stretch the neck. And for some of you, it may be really tight. You may feel that tightness. But this is a good passive way to stretch and shows you a lot of where there may be upper back and neck tension. And that can contribute to a lot of other stuff in the rest of the body. Using the floor as a guide. Breathe down to your belly. And if you breathe really deeply down to your belly, it'll release the low back. Take one more breath. Tucking the chin down towards the chest. We're going to inhale to lift your head up. Rotate your head to the other direction, all the way, and then place the right cheek and the right ear on the ground. And come to rest. Let the shoulders go forward towards the floor. If you feel too much tension, you can take your left arm out to the side, or even bending the elbow may help. Breathe down to your belly. Take one more breath. So take one arm up, whichever arm you want to take up, you're going to roll onto that side. So whatever is the easiest for you. Then you're going to take your hand is going to be on the ground. You're going to open up the hand, push away from the floor, leading with the shoulder, not the head, to bring yourself up. And then just notice how you feel. just coming off of that stretching, being on our face, being on our belly, breathing down to our low belly. I know that I feel super relaxed right now. So I'm wondering if you do as well, because when we can calm the mind, when we can calm our nervous system, that's when we let our body repair and heal and restore. And so many of the ailments we have, so many, almost all, if not all, are related to stress. The stress that of here, of what we think, whether it's conscious thoughts or subconscious thoughts. And so when we can use this practice to stimulate relaxation, to find those moments of relaxing our body. And when you're on your belly like that, it has even more tendency to actually stimulate parasympathetic nervous system. It's you putting yourself in a position that sends a signal to your nervous system that everything is okay. If you're willing to lie face down on the ground, then you're transmitting that, okay, we can rest here. All right, so let's come up. Let's take the blanket to the top of your mat. You're gonna need your block and your belt for this next part. So you're gonna come forward. Let's take our legs really wide here. Do a little bit of windshield wiper in case there's anything we need to shake up. And the hands here, if you put the hands closer together, really making sure that the chest is lifted and not collapsing, getting that nice stretch in your hip joint, or hopefully it's nice. And then bringing yourself onto your side, reach your arm away and come all the way down onto your back. Let's take our limbs in the air and shake, shake, shake. Let everything settle here. Settle, settle, settle. And then take your strap. Let's get your strap. And if your strap loops, I want you to loop it. And if it doesn't loop, that's okay. You could tie it. We're going to bring the strap between our feet. So you're going to put your feet through it. And then you're going to bring your strap all the way up. So it's over your knees. It's on the top part of your body. And if you push your legs apart, your legs don't go farther than your body. So you're going to put it to the distance where your legs are about body distance, maybe a little bit wider, but not too much more. And then you're going to bring your knees down onto the ground. So we're going to do a little spinal undulation here. Having the strap there really gives you a little bit more ability to lift off the ground. And one thing I want to say about this, when we do come up off the ground into a back bend, you want the weight to waterfall up here. You want this to be like a waterfall where the weight goes to the upper back area, not into your head and neck. So you don't want to keep your body at an angle and straight. You really want to get as much of a bending in your spine as you can when you do this. So we are going to take the blanket away from the back of the head, and you are going to be lifting up. So when you lift up, it won't be uncomfortable if it is for you now. Then take your feet away from your body a little bit. Take your arms, press your arms into the ground, lift your rib cage away from the floor, and slide your shoulder blades towards the spine. So you're more narrow across the top. Let your arms be down alongside your body. You definitely walked your feet away from you. And then you're going to take an exhale. As you inhale, you're going to push your feet into the floor, push out on the strap, lift your arm up, the right arm. The right arm lifts up, the spine peels away from the floor. Go slowly here. Only lift up to about your heart, and you're going to rotate your head to the left. So the weight of the body is right about heart level. You're not lifting all the way up with your head turned to the side. So you only lift up to about heart. The exhale brings us down. The inhale brings the left hand up. The head looks towards the right. And the exhale brings you down. Go slow. Slower is harder. Slower is more muscular work for the glutes and the leg muscles. So really strengthening the low body here is so important for hip health, for back health, for knee health. So go slow. Slower is harder. It's more advanced. Push out on the strap. Inhale to rise. Exhale to lower. You may even feel your glutes right around now. Last one. Bringing yourself back to center. Bring your feet closer to your body. Lift your upper body up. Slide your shoulder blades towards your spine. Toes are pointing away from you. Push your feet into the floor. Tilt your pelvis backwards and forward. So get a nice pelvic tilt going here. Low back presses into the ground. Low back releases. Low back presses into the ground and releases. We get a lot of spinal or pelvic movement here, which then will give us more freedom in the spine. So we're letting our low back come away from the ground, and then we're tilting our pelvis back. And there's a little rocking action of your pelvis here. And keep your arms down alongside your body. Flatten your low back into the floor. Take an exhale. Inhale. Start lifting your spine up off the floor. Close your eyes. Feel your ribs start to move away. Feel you moving away all the way to your heart. And then push your heart towards your face. So you add a back bend to the upper spine. And then exhale, lower down slowly. Feel your spine touching the floor. Try to get the low back to touch before the pelvis. Inhale to lift, peeling your spine up and away, undulating your spine. Exhale to lower. Go slow. See what you could feel and notice in your spine and in the muscles that mobilize and stabilize it. Is there shaking back and forth, or are you able to stay center? On your next one, come up and hold. Stay here for 3 breaths. When you finish that last breath, bring yourself all the way down. Bring your blanket back behind your head. Bring your knees in and take the strap off. Draw your knees into your chest and then rock side to side. So we're going to do 2 deep twists here, and twists can be very therapeutic for the back. So you want to make sure that you're in your body. When you do this, you go slow, and we're going to try to set ourselves up for success. So grabbing your block, let's push the feet into the floor, lift your pelvis up, and then push your pelvis over to the right, but keep your rib cage where it is. So you're just pushing your lower body over it and then place it down on the ground. Then you draw the left knee in and the right knee. And you have your block in your hand, your left hand. So let's bring our knees, have them pretty high, bring them over to the side and let them rest on the block. Now your right shoulder blade needs to stay on the floor. So for some of you, maybe this is where you'll be. For others, maybe you could let the left leg go to the floor and put the block in between, and you're still able to keep your right shoulder blade on the ground. And then for others, maybe you could let no block be there, let the legs touch each other, and your right shoulder blade is still on the ground. Holding onto that right leg. You could also unbend the right leg, letting the right leg be straight, getting maybe a deeper stretch somewhere. Twists are very individual, so feel your way into what feels the best for your body. We breathe deeply. Bring your awareness to your right waist and push the top of the right pelvis away from you, deep inside your body in this twist. Take one more breath. Now, twists can be something that for people with low back issues, twisting can be something that can be very, very therapeutic if it's done correctly, or it can actually poke the monster of pain in your body because it can make your body feel unsafe and go into a contraction state. So the way we move in and out of a twist matters, and matters for all of us, but especially if you have low back issues. So we're going to take that right leg, which is on top. You're going to bring the right leg closer to your chest. You're going to start to bring the right leg up, and then you could lift the left leg up or even just roll onto your back. Put your feet onto the floor, lift your pelvis up, come back to a neutral for a second. And then your block is going to go on the right hand. You're going to push your feet into the floor, lift your pelvis up, and push your pelvis over to the left, and then lower the pelvis. The block is on the right side. You bring the right leg in and then the left. And they're up high. They're not away from your body. You want them to be up high so you're in flexion or you have protection in the low back. Then you're going to slowly go towards the right, keeping left shoulder blade on the ground. Maybe your legs go on the block goes in between your legs, or you don't need a block. And maybe one side you need it and one side you don't. So do what's appropriate for you. A lot of twisting of the low back muscles, the rotational muscles of the trunk. So make sure whatever you're doing, this part of your body, is appropriate for you. And then, of course, if you have any issues, like this is my hip replacement side, and this is where I had my hip replacement, is on the side of my leg where I feel the stretching of the muscles. So I'm going to be in my hip to make sure that I'm not pulling too much, even though I'm sure I'm 100% safe. But just always being protective of whatever you need to monitor in your own body. Breathing deep. Take one more breath. And then bring the block out. Bring the left leg up, go slow. Start to roll onto your back. And then bring your feet onto the floor, lift up your pelvis, and then draw your knees into your chest. Side to side. So twisting the spine actually stimulates parasympathetic relaxation. The spine is innervated with parasympathetic nerve response receptors. So twisting can be very relaxing, and you need to be careful if you have back issues that you do it nice and safe. So we're going to come into the final pose of the day, which is Shavasana, a pose of integration. Do any last minute movements you feel your body needs. Then bring yourself into the Shavasana. Legs could be really spread wide here, and let the toes flop to the sides. That feels really nice and relaxing for the hip, for the low back. Letting your legs be spread. And then let go, let whatever. So wherever you find your peace and your relaxation, surrender to that now. So gently begin to deepen your breath. And start to bring movement into your hands and your feet. Bending your knees. Drive your knees into your chest. And rolling onto your side. You're going to push away from the ground, leading with your shoulder to bring yourself up into a seated position. We're going to close the practice with sound, the sound, because you showed up for you today and you changed things in your body. The body you showed up today to the practice is not the body you're leaving with. You unblocked, you unclogged, you freed up energy flow, and you moved around physical, biochemical aspects of your body as well. Any kind of arthritic deposits that were getting sticky in areas, you unclogged the hoses and got things to move. And then there were moments where you grounded your mental energy to stay in the present moment, allowing your body to heal and to repair and to find the balance it's always trying to achieve. So let's close with sound, a gentle sound. Press your heart to your hands to your heart. Take a deep breath all the way down to your belly. Bowing in gratitude. Namaste. So I hope you feel good and you are warding off or managing the stress of aging when you do things like this for your body. All right, so probably a little bit more of a challenging class today, right? I know I threw in some challenging things there. Don't know what your abilities are, Kevin. Never met you or saw you. Hopefully you stayed there the whole time, and hope that was okay for you. Stan, I thought about you with your back when I was doing the twisting, so I hope that that was okay for you with the twists. Nancy, your back, because I know that's kind of an issue for you quite often, so hopefully this was good, and I know some of it was challenging. And then let me see, who else came? Joanne, good morning. Great, you're welcome. All right. Well, I hope you all feel good. Steve, if you're out there, hello. So yeah, so that's us. I hope you feel good. I feel pretty good. I feel pretty strong right now. So yeah, if anybody wants to say anything to me or ask me any questions, I'm here to answer anything you may need. And hopefully I wasn't frozen. Subscribe if you're not subscribed, please, to my channel. I need to get up to 1,000 because I want to start teaching outside, and I need 1,000, so I'm almost there. Oh, great. Good, Carolyn. I like to hear that. You're welcome, Lynn. You're welcome, Nancy. I miss you all, those of you that I know that I usually see. Yeah, and I thought about Dave today because a lot of the stuff I did today would be good for Dave when I think about Dave's issues and his tissues, because we all have them, right? Stevie, good. Nice and mellow, but also strong, right, Stevie? I'm sure you were doing that rotational plank with me. That's a challenge, doing that rotational plank. Those are the kinds of things I do, like I say, power moves. Those are the kinds of things I do to maintain my strength. Is I'll go onto the ground and do a plank for, I don't know, I usually do it with breaths. Good. Neck. Yeah, I do. I actually feel pretty good up here too. Aw, I miss you, Dave. All right. So thank you so much, everyone. Have a beautiful Saturday. It's beautiful here in California. I don't know about Kansas City, but I'll tell you, the sun is shining. It is beautiful. All right. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.